Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard and David Anderson with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners to provide you some value, to help you scale your business, to become a better father, and push yourself to higher goals personally. We hope you really enjoy these shows, and we really encourage you to share this with your friends and network to help share these messages. I'm super excited to announce a new partnership we have with Site Recon. If you're tired of measuring properties, the Site Recon platform fully automates the measurements so you can then focus on sales. Think measurements, think Site Recon. Welcome everyone, this is Robert Clinkenbeard, David Anderson with the Commercial Landscapers Podcast. I'm happy to announce we have Brodie Bruner on our call today. So thank you for joining me today, Brodie.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So Brodie, I'd really appreciate you taking the time today. I've so much respect for your company, Weathermatic. You know, the mission is all around saving water, give life. I think you've now built 67 wells. You have 20 billion gallons of water saved, 16,000 lives saved. Really impressive figures there. So tell me, just give me a high level pitch about your company.
Yeah, you bet. And you said it well. That's our mission, save water, give life. And Save Water is all about incorporating our technology and really helping inspire commercial landscape companies to take a water first approach. Water's foundational to the landscape, and really, rather than it being a sideline, we want to inspire people in the industry to really take it to another level as it relates to managing water. And we've got tools and technology and programs to do that. The other element is the give life. So it's Save Water, Give Life. And we have really found a passion about helping save people's lives with clean water. We realize that in the green industry, for most properties, the number one consumer of water is the outdoors and the irrigation system. And it really struck us that there's people in the world today that don't have clean water. They're literally dying because the lack of it. And so we said, well, what if we could take our savings and kind of magically give it to people in need while we're not running pipelines to the third world? We have decided that for every control system that we get installed, we can give a person clean water for a lifetime. So we've set up that equivalency, kind of like Tom's shoes, 1 for 1. And that is something our partners have really loved telling their customers, the property owners and managers, that, hey, while we're saving you water and money, we're also going to save a life here today as we upgrade your control system. So that's been really inspiring for our team and our customers there. But that's us, Save Water, Give Life.
No, that's a very inspiring story there, Brodie. Now you do some work. You know, some of these wells you provide are in South America somewhere. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've concentrated in Central America, and frankly, it's because a lot of our industry here in the United States is supported by people who call that home and often have friends and family there. We've been really inspired to talk to some of our customers here in the United States who look at the different countries that we're working, and they say, hey, I've got a brother there or a cousin or something like that. And so places like El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala in Central America, but as far away as Uganda and Zambia in Africa, all places where people who were just they were born there, that's their home, and unfortunately, due to a number of different reasons, they don't have the gift and the blessing of clean water and sanitation and hygiene. And so we want to bring that to those communities. And I think it's just really inspiring that our green industry is who controls so much water here in the United States is making a global impact with that program.
No, that's tremendous. And, you know, as you said, you know, not only is it inspiring for the clients that you work with and all their employees, but I'm sure your employees as well just get behind that vision, get behind that story. So you have almost like that, you know, that consistent passion.
No doubt about it. It's something that, you know, in today's world, if you read any of the studies and surveys that have been done, when people look at what kind of organization do they want to be a part of, increasingly it's more than just, you know, about a paycheck. People want to be part of something bigger than themselves, something that gives them purpose in life, and I think that's something that's really been helpful for our company in attracting talent, but also for our partners, because they're realizing that water is part of the overall green and sustainability movement, and we can make a huge impact on that together, and even help people in great need. And so that's really been something that's been impactful internally. But I'll tell you also that we have seen many Fortune 500 companies and even leaders in like HOA management, take Associa, they have joined us on water well drilling trips. CBRE, the largest commercial property management company, they have joined us to go drill these wells that were a direct result of the water conservation projects on their own properties. And so I think there's an opportunity for commercial landscapers to really tap into that desire that the HOA and commercial industrial property management companies have to really build up not only their sustainability savings through water, but also their philanthropic efforts that we uniquely tie together here. So, I'm really excited about what the program has done, but we've helped about 67 communities that we've been able to bring clean water to, but our goal is 500. So we can't do that on our own. We need the green industry to rally behind it, and thankfully it is.
No, that's great. I mean, it's obviously done a great job so far. And talking about the green industry, I mean, we've all seen different changes and trends going on in the industry with acquisitions and technology. But from your side, what do you see as being the major trends that have happened recently and going into the rest of 21, 22? What do you see going on in the industry?
Yeah, for sure. There's some very key, what I'll call macro level trends that are very personal and impactful to those of us in the industry. And I'll pick out three of those. One is labor scarcity, right? And labor is across the board. That's if you're in the commercial landscape business, you're in the labor management business, and labor, that issue is something that's huge today. And we know it's not going away. So that is a mega trend that we all have to deal with in the industry. The second one would be the price of water. Water is critical to the health of landscapes. As I talk with Fortune 500 sustainability leaders, they're looking at many dynamics around water. And one of those is how do we conserve it, obviously, which impacts not only the delivery devices, the technology on water, but also the type of landscape that's installed. Is it native? Is it more local friendly, if you will? So that element around water in terms of its price and in terms of its regulation is a second mega trend, in addition to the labor. And then the third piece of it, which really helps counteract some of the challenges around water cost and labor, is that proliferation of technology. It's affordability, it's simplicity. All of us in the green industry, all of our crew members, everybody is carrying around the most powerful device that's ever been, a smartphone. And that is something to tap into, because used properly, that can help us be more efficient to address the labor piece. And secondly, it can be used with technology like ours to manage water better and deliver a service that commercial landscapers should be offering. But those are our three mega trends around labor, water, proliferation of technology that are really driving a lot of the environment that we're working in today.
That's good. That's tremendous. And obviously, since you are the water expert, talk to me a little bit more about how do you see the industry changing in relation to better water management, especially with the costs increasing? I mean, people don't necessarily see that as maybe like a individual residential basis, but when you're talking about a large HOA, I mean, it could be substantial.
Absolutely. And I think if you look back, I've been in the industry 25 years, and many people listening today have been around longer. And there was a time when when it was almost a bragging right to have an irrigation system, and wow, look at that water fly, it's going everywhere, it's running down the street, and it was abundant and free. But that dynamic, as I said, has changed, and with that, the industry has had to change. There was a time, I know, when I started in the industry, that you were either a landscape company or an irrigation company. And in fact, most of the landscape companies didn't self-perform, especially in the Eastern U.S. It was more quick to be a one-stop shop in the West, but frequently the landscape industry looked at water as kind of a necessary evil, that, hey, if our mowers ran over a irrigation system or something like that, we'll call an irrigation company in to do a repair. But as that started to raise itself in terms of its cost and frankly the profit opportunity, we've seen the industry bring the commercial landscapers bring irrigation in-house, right? And so now they have that discipline to be able to make their repairs, maybe some minor or even major installs. And so the industry has kind of melded into one where you see less of that clear distinction between irrigation and landscape companies. So now that we have most of the landscape companies being responsible for water, what we're seeing is the real leaders are moving beyond just, well, I'm going to repair the systems on the properties I maintain, to really the next level, which is where they are looking at it and saying, you know what, we can actually propose water management efficiency enhancements, just like you sell landscape enhancements, a key profit driver for landscape companies. Why not sell water management enhancements? It is desired, the properties want it. And so that is key. And some of them are even offering scheduled maintenance, not unlike you would change the oil on your car every 5 to 7,000 miles. The diaphragms, the solenoids, the nozzles are not as good today as they were 5 to 7 years ago when they were installed. A lot of the fire drills that happen in our industry are the result of not doing maintenance. Just like if your truck broke down on the interstate because you hadn't changed the oil ever, that's the dynamic. So really, the big picture that we're seeing is landscape companies are bringing irrigation in-house and elevating it from just irrigation to truly water management, by doing more than the repairs, doing water management efficiency enhancements, and offering scheduled maintenance type of services to avoid landscape loss and wasted water. You add all of that together, and that's what the leaders are making a discipline within their business, to have the competency to be water management companies and not strictly landscape management companies. Right. And we think that distinction is a key difference maker, and will increasingly be a kind of a tiebreaker when properties are evaluating. I've got 3 proposals in front of me. 2 of them are just strictly landscape, but this one here is going to manage my water utility, which I didn't say this earlier. Water is the fastest growing utility expense in America. And so if you're a property manager, you're noticing that you can't just budget this year what you did last year.
Right.
Water as a commodity increased 50% in its cost in the last decade, since 2010, and it's projected to do that again in the forthcoming decade. So as an industry, we don't have the luxury of saying, well, we'll just do it the way we've always done it. We have to do it better. We have to do it differently. It's a real opportunity for leadership and really to create a competitive advantage, I think, for the companies that do it well.
No, I agree. And I was going to say, water's definitely not going to get cheaper. There isn't technology that can necessarily help keep the water costs down. But I mean, how are you? Because I do see a lot of companies that struggle, from doing that basic just sprinkler head replacement, fixing broken lines, to then going to true water management, where they're, being proactive. They're trying to replace controllers. They're trying to, just take their water management to another level. So how do you help companies do that?
Yeah, well, what we've seen, there's a number of key areas that they have to again, develop that discipline. And I mentioned labor earlier. That talent side is very important. And frankly, the volume at which it's needed for our industry to do justice to water management services is something that's just not out there. We're going to have to breed that within. We're going to have to nurture and create that talent around water management. And so we know that training is a key. It's increasingly offered through an LLP. The Irrigation Association offers that. Our company has a SmartLink certification training class where they can be certified in using water management technology. And as part of that, we teach about precipitation rates and how to apply the right amount of water for the varying types of plants, shrubs, lawns, and turf and native, all of these different aspects that really are beyond just unscrewing a broken head and screwing a new one in, but having the intelligence to program systems properly and maintain and apply that water properly. But training fundamentally is very, very key. And I would encourage anyone listening to the podcast to really look at what is our training track for our team to develop water management expertise. That is going to be fundamental, and that's one part of it. The second part of it, beyond training, that I think is critical, is communication. And we know that's fundamental to everything that we're doing in the commercial landscape world in terms of managing a relationship, and really the communication on the water side is even more important. And historically, there's been such a disjunct. Water's the fastest growing utility expense. Most of it's managed, or most of it's used outdoors. But I ask any commercial landscaper, when's the last time you saw your customer's water bill? And they're like, well, I've never seen it. It's like, okay, well, something's broken here. So there needs to be that communication between us as green industry professionals and the properties we maintain. And when we have productive conversations around water, what are your goals? What are our targets? That will lead into what are the solutions. And that's frequently it's automated technology. We make a daily self-adjusting system that was proven to save on average 38% of water use reduction. That's a great value add that professionals can offer to properties. Additionally, the right tools to do that. Custom marketing materials are going to be important to be able to emphasize what are we doing to bring water use efficiency to this property. So when we look at proposals, when we look at contract renewals, where are we injecting water management into that, and where do our websites, where do our marketing, where is our social media putting a spotlight on water to show expertise in that particular area. So that is certainly fundamental to success. So I think training and then the communication are two critical dynamics in terms of being able to help the industry move forward and to show that leadership in water management.
Oh, that's good. That's great advice. And building on that, I hear companies talking about training. I talk about companies talking about communication, especially as they're scaling a company, and they're all gung ho after somebody comes into a company, but then it quickly disappears when people get back into the daily challenges, especially in the operational side. So how do you build in that execution, almost like that discipline, into a company? What are some of the things that you advise you could provide?
I think that's, execution is everything, right? Nothing that we've talked about today, I'm guessing people say, oh, no, it's a bad idea. We don't need to manage water. We'll just let it run down the street and we'll neglect it. I don't think anybody really wants to do that. I think people want to manage water better. They want to do a better service to their customer around water. They want to be able to win and retain contracts. So I think everyone's is probably of that mindset. And that's why I say, the training is key so that we know how to execute. One of the things that we have done in the partnerships that we have is we have regular review meetings every 4 to 6 weeks with our partners. and we review our goals. So like everything that's fundamental, right? You start out with a goal. What do we want to accomplish in our company as it relates to water management? Most of the partners we're working with, one of their first objectives is to get their control systems online.
Right.
Because if they're only managing them when they're physically in the bushes or in the mechanical room in the year now 2021, that's not good enough. They need to be online, just like the other building control systems. And when I say that, I'm referring to the thermostats, the occupancy sensors, there's a whole host of other control systems in a building, but they're virtually all online. And irrigation has been the exception in recent years. And so we partner with commercial landscapers, say, hey, let's bring them online so that we can then have remote access, which has become very important with COVID lately, because places are either not accessible or they're not wanting the landscaper in their building. So having that remote access is important. Being able to receive alerts remotely is very important. And so when you start bringing that into the fold, then you start to see the benefits that you can provide to your customer, but also internally. When we talk about the goal of getting a portfolio online, now you're able to send global commands before that tropical storm or big weather event hits. Another benefit that you're going to be able to extend and offer to a customer. But I think going back to your question around execution, have the goal of what you want to achieve. Getting an online portfolio is a great first step that empowers your people with the tools and technology to manage the water effectively. And then you can start building from that point going forward to say, okay, now what are the water management enhancements that we are going to offer? What are the scheduled maintenance plans that we want to be budgeting for? That's all foundational there. One of the things that I've seen the most successful landscape companies do really well is they do their inspections. Most of the contracts out there call for at least a monthly inspection, some of them more frequent than that. But when we've interviewed the CBREs, the JLLs, and the property managers, and I asked them, how frequently are you getting an inspection and actually seeing that? It's like in the 90 percentile that they say, I don't think we're getting them per contract. and we never see them. And it's kind of like this almost dirty little secret that the inspections, even though they're in the contract, they're really only done when you can get to it. And
so true.
And so we've built into our mobile app the inspection so that you can go through and have a remote control and paperlessly turn it on, mark your issues, take a picture of it, make your programming changes, email it off to that property manager. And that way now they're connected to it. And that inspection is what drives the conversation to say, hey, while we were here, we didn't just take pictures of the geysers that were out there. We noticed this area here where if we were able to separate the color bed from the shrub beds into separate zones, we could save 40% of the water in that area. That would help on your water budgeting goal. That type of conversation is what needs to happen a lot more. And that's what we're seeing the leaders really separate, because when they do that, people are like, wow, the last company never even brought this stuff up. And here you're taking pictures and showing me opportunities to be more efficient. And that's really what properties are looking for is that proactive type of nature, I think.
No, absolutely. Yep. I've experienced that myself in the past. So I'm going to switch directions slightly with our last few questions here, Brodie. So, you've obviously grown a lot as a company over the years. What type of things do you look for as you're building your team? You've obviously got a large SEAL working for you. What type of key attributes are you looking for as you built your team?
Yeah, we have, just like our overall industry has labor challenges. We are blessed and fortunate to have a lot of excellent people on our team, and we're very careful about the people we bring onto our team. One of the key factors that we look at in evaluating talent is what we call the 3 C's. And the 3 C's are very simply character, competency, and chemistry. So character is job one, right? And that's people that have honesty, integrity. They live by the golden rule. That if that's not there, then we're not interested.
Yeah, I agree,
So
100%.
that's level one. The level two is competency, and if you've got good character, we need to know that you're good at what you do. If you're an accountant, you need to be good at accounting. If you're an engineer, you need to be good at engineering. And so competency is important. And it's not just that we have the expectation that everyone we hire is perfectly built for the role that we need, but that they have a desire to develop their competency and get to where we need them to be. And so that is fundamental. They got to be good at what they do, and they've always got to be getting better. And they have to have a passion for that in what they do. If I've got a marketing person, they need to be a passionate marketer and want to grow in that area. The third element is the chemistry piece, and chemistry is we have found very important, and especially now that we're all working remotely with COVID and everything, the chemistry piece we have to be even more intentional about that. But the point of chemistry is, as Mike Mason, our CEO, says, when I see this person, do they make me smile? And we've all dealt with people on our team. It's like, oh no, I got to work with them today, or
That's true.
and we have no tolerance for that. If you're going to be on our team, you've got to fit in, and you've got to create chemistry. Not that we're all going to be best buddies and
No.
work or whatever, but we've got to be able to work well together. Because even if you've done the first two, but everybody hates you, and that doesn't work. So those are kind of the three that we line up.
I like
you
it.
have the right character. You've got to be good at what you do, and we've all got to work well together. When we have people that check all three of those boxes, and it can't be 2 out of 3, it's when they check all three, that's going to be our people that we know are long-term players.
I like it. The 3 C's. Yeah, I like that a lot. So going into, you've got a new company that's come into the scene. They're now up to $2-3 million, and they feel as though they've got a good thing going, good rhythm going. What would be the best advice you would give that up and coming company?
Yeah, for a company that is a growing landscape company, I always look at it in several different ways. One, you've got to look at what's your value proposition. What are you going to bring to the table that's any different than anybody else? We are in an industry which, thankful to a lot of us, was easy to get into, right? Low barrier to entry business. Yeah. And I think that because of that, it really raises the importance for successful companies to have a unique selling proposition that is different. So many companies, when I get to see hundreds of them, when I look at their proposals and I look at their websites, I can't even remember one from the next because they all look the same. And yet when I ask them what are the challenges, and they're saying, well, our margins aren't what they should be. It's like, well, when all else is equal, price does become the issue.
Yeah, that's true. Very much so.
So what are you going to do in your business that is unique, is distinctive, and adds value to your client? And that's something that you can answer today, and the answer needs to be better tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. That has got to be a driving force. So I think that unique selling proposition in terms of what is your value proposition that makes you set apart from your competitors is always going to be the key to winning business, but getting the customers you want and the margins that you need to be sustainable long term. That is what I would tell any new company to focus on. Don't go spending all your money on the shiny truck. Somebody else can go buy a shiny truck.
Right. Yeah.
What are you doing that people care about? And then with that clearly defined, and when you've confirmed that is what makes you unique and better, then how do you deliver that as a service company? How do you deliver it consistently? How do you build the team and the organization to back up what you've sold? And that is easier said than done, right?
True. So my last question here, you've again been part of a tremendous journey. What mistakes have you made along the way that you think back and said, oh, maybe I should have done this differently?
Yeah, well, I can tell you one of the things that what we thought about, when I came to this company in 1995, we saw water as something that would really be the difference maker. I mean, there were books written even that was 25 years ago that water would be the next oil, and you still hear that today. It's been slower to materialize than what I had thought, and we made investments maybe that we made too early on some elements of our business. And one of the things that we realized is you have to sync up your investments in your tools and your technology also with the adoption in the market. The key that we have found in recent years, specifically around what we do and the technology we offer, has been through financing. And a lot of what we were selling for so many years was a lump sum control system, let's say, that might be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
Right.
And the market was looking at that and saying, love the benefit, want to save water, makes sense. There's a return on investment. It's good for the landscape company, all of these things. But they were saying, you know what? Of all the things I have to spend money on, I don't have $2,000 or $3,000 for your Weathermatic system. And so it took us a while because we're like, it's great. It pays for itself. Why isn't everybody doing this?
Jump on
banging our heads against the wall. And then we finally looked at it and said, you know what? What is the automobile industry doing? What is the real estate industry doing? Most people don't go in and write a $50,000 check for a car. And most people don't pay a few $100,000 for a house. They break it down to a monthly payment. And when we look at commercial landscapers, most of your services are billed monthly, right? And so we said, you know what? We need to learn from that and get smarter. And we need to sell our product through a financed lease program so that then it can be just included in proposals and contracts and renewals. And that single difference has exploded our company.
I was going to say that's a game changer.
It's changed the game. And so I look back and say, goodness, why didn't I do that 10 years ago? But you know what? You live and learn. You get better, and it makes it all the sweeter when you do.
No, it's true. And even what I admire about that is the fact that you were open enough to go and look at other industries, other people. I think sometimes our industry can be a little bit guilty of just, looking inside the industry, where there's so many other great either technology or techniques out there and that other people are using. So I admire you for looking outside of the industry.
One of our core values is humility, and humility to know that we don't know everything. You got to stay humble even as we're growing in a healthy business. Thankfully for that, we will maintain that and be searching for what's the next best thing. How do we get better? That's fundamental, I think, for any successful business. Is I'm seeing different peer groups in the industry. Most of them with the most successful companies in our industry are the ones that are there to learn, and there's something to be said for that.
No, that's key right there. So I really appreciate the time today, Brodie. You've been giving us great information, give us some great ideas about where the industry is going. If people want to get in contact with you and learn about you, about Weathermatic, and also just the different programs that are available, how did they do that?
Yeah, my name again, Brodie Bruner, and the email for all of us at Weathermatic is first last name at Weathermatic. So Brodie.Bruner@weathermatic.com. That's BRODIE.BRUNER@weathermatic.com. And that's the best way to reach me there by email. Of course, we have our website, weathermatic.com. If you're interested in our control system technology, which is where a lot of our programs are designed around, it's SmartLinkNetwork.com. So SmartLinkNetwork.com is where you can read about that. We also have a YouTube channel and a lot of great interviews that our president, Lex Mason, has done with a lot of the industry leaders in commercial landscaping. So go to YouTube, Weathermatic TV, and look at our partner series. And there's some really great information specifically about water. If anything we've talked about today strikes you, you want to learn what some of the leaders are doing from their own mouths, that would be a great place to go as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you again for your time today, Brodie. This is the Commercial Landscaper podcast. And Brodie, have a wonderful weekend.
We'll do it. Thank you.
Hopefully that was pure dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or your personal life. This is Robert Clinkybeard along with David Anderson, and we'd love to get you and your friends to join us in our future journey. 2 quick things before you go, listeners. Check out our website, commerciallandscapers.com. You can subscribe, you can share with your friends, and more importantly, check out our new sponsor, Site Recon. Going to make your sales process, your estimating way easier so you can spend more time in your proposals. Thanks everyone. Cheers.